I want to talk about forgiveness. So I'm a mom, and I remember raising my kids to always apologize. Like I would force them to apologize to people. And what I realized is that sometimes they just weren't sorry for what they did. And what was I telling them? That all you have to do is say sorry and it makes everything better, or they don't have to take responsibility. And I think that we've created this society of you have to apologize when you slight somebody, whether you really want to apologize or not. And then that apology means nothing. So, what I started teaching my kids was to apologize, of course, if they meant it, but also how to accept an apology. Because the other thing that I've noticed is people, when people apologize, the other person typically says, "Oh, it's okay." No, their behavior was not okay, or they wouldn't be apologizing. Or you wouldn't need an apology if their behavior was okay. So we've also created this environment where we're telling people it's okay to do mean things or, hurtful things. And words matter. We stopped understanding that words matter. The types of words that we use matter. Humans are wired for storytelling in their brains. So we're constantly telling ourselves stories, or we're receiving stories from the world. So when we apologize when we don't mean it, what story is being told? Or when we tell somebody it's okay for what they did to us, what story is being told to ourselves? Or when we accept an apology when we don't want to, what story are we telling ourselves? So we're constantly telling ourselves a story. We're filling in the blanks, and these stories, they impact us. There's also this belief that you can't heal unless you forgive somebody. For somebody that has experienced some pretty bad things in my life, and I'm sure a lot of other people have too, I'm not going to forgive everybody that has hurt me. And that's okay. I think there's a place for acceptance and healing without forgiveness. There's all these pressures on us to do what everybody else is doing, and I've noticed that a lot of these unwritten rules that we've come up with, like you should always apologize when you wrong somebody, you should always forgive, or you're gonna just hurt yourself. I think these are all rules that we've made up to not feel, to try to put a band-aid or smother how we're feeling. That has created this toxic environment that we live in. It's not just toxic relationships. We live in a toxic environment where apologies mean nothing. You're forced to sort of forgive people because until you're ready, you're not going to really forgive. But you're forced into forgiveness, all because nobody wants to feel and nobody wants to take responsibility for what they've done. I don't follow that anymore. And I feel so much better living by my own rules that allow me to feel, that make it okay for me to not want people in my life that I don't want in my life because they've hurt me. And sometimes I've forgiven them, sometimes I haven't. It doesn't matter. And I know I've hurt people. I've apologized, but sometimes even after I've apologized, I don't want to be in that person's life, because sometimes I realize that my behavior, my negative behavior, was because I wasn't okay with that relationship, so I was sabotaging it. Our life is so intricate, and we try to simplify it, and it really isn't as simple as we want it to be. And I think it's important that we don't just arbitrarily just forgive and apologize. Today, if you're watching this video, I want you to know that you can give yourself permission to not apologize when you're not ready. You can give yourself permission to not forgive if you're not ready. You are in control of your own life. You can make those decisions.